his therapeutic lead and, leaning on his research and his clinical experience, the things I've seen people recover from are, I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore. You wouldn't believe the things that I've seen people recover from just with good old-fashioned medical nutrition. Actually, it's good new-fashioned medical nutrition.
It's very exciting. In fact, Ashley, who got in contact with me, is a living testimonial for the work that you and Dr. Wallace are doing.
She was suffering from chronic fatigue for 15 years. She'd been to every doctor in the country, done all these therapeutics, tried everything to lose weight. Couldn't do it, or could do it, but she felt like crap when she was losing weight. Because remember, and here's another little twist of irony, right? Every weight loss clinic in the world will tell you that one of the keys to weight loss is exercise. And they're all wrong. And this is why they all fail. Or this is why you'll lose 30 pounds, but then you can't handle it anymore, so you'll cave, you'll discard the therapeutic, and you gain 40. Because remember, our whole supposition is that the only reason you're craving too many calories is because you're running on nutrient fumes. Now, when you exercise, what happens to your nutrient reserves? You waste them faster. You're already running on empty, and so now you exercise, and you sap your reserves that much faster. So the more you exercise, the more you crave to eat, and you really have to bring your willpower to bear. And while you're doing it, you feel awful because your body knows that it's nutrient starved and it is trying to get you to eat. And it's crazy. We have it completely backwards here. And you know what's the most frustrating thing for me? The most frustrating thing is these M.D.s, I just don't get where they're coming from. Because, if I was a medical doctor and I was looking around at the outrageous treatment failures, and I mean outrageous, they are outrageous treatment failures, I would have a little introspection and say, you know what? Maybe we need to change our methodology. Maybe our fundamental philosophy is incorrect. Maybe we need to start to do things a little differently.
I want to stop you just a moment here, and I want to go back to the exercise part, because you just dropped the equivalent of a bomb on the audience. And I don't want to take it lightly, and I don't want this to be an opportunity to gloss over something that's a fact for you but isn't a fact for us. My current frame of reference is that, well, now it's really changed with Phil Campbell's studies, but my understanding is that particularly for anybody over 50, you need weight-bearing exercise. Otherwise, you're going to lose your muscle mass, and your bones are not going to be strong, and you're not strengthening your core. Right. And it used to be you were told if you walk 45 minutes, 5 to 6 days a week, it'll keep you lean.
Now, if all of this were correct, and you're right, but let's put it in perspective. We've had all of this advice for the last 50 years about how to be healthy, about how to eat healthily, about how to exercise healthily, and about how to maintain our health. And in that time frame that we've had all of this advice, obesity is skyrocketing, high blood pressure is skyrocketing, heart disease has remained unchanged, cancer incidence has remained unchanged. The information that we've gotten hasn't worked. It's been completely ineffective, and yet we do not recognize it. There's never been a professional athlete to live to be over 100. Well, there was one guy from the old, black baseball leagues in the 1920s. He made it to be over 100.
Do you exercise?
Rarely. No, I just do a little bit of yoga. I'm kind of a yoga guy. I was a yoga instructor years ago before it was a thing to do. I taught myself how to do yoga when I was 13 years old. I became a yoga instructor in 1980.
Interesting. Do you do breathing? Obviously, you're very attuned to doing special types of breathing and oxygenating your system. Do you advocate breathing exercises and high-level oxygenation for the public?
No. Here's what we advocate, all right? Take the 91 essential nutrients every day, appropriate for your body weight, and stop eating. There are 9 foods that nobody should eat, let alone look at. And to kind of underline this exercise thing, and we can talk about it more, listen up, folks. Again, this is not rocket science. Exercise without nutrition is suicide. Exercise without nutrition is suicide. And by nutrition, I don't mean eat from the 4 food groups. I don't mean, have a palm-sized meal 5 times a day. I don't mean reduce your carbohydrates and increase your protein. I mean there are 91 essential nutrients. vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids that your body needs to have imported into it every day. Every day. If you do not import those nutrients into your body every day, it is only a matter of time before you run out of one or more of them and something breaks. Now, if your tank is half filled with nutrients and you exercise, you increase your metabolic rate, you sweat, you accelerate your nutrient loss. And unless you fill that tank back up, things are going to break faster. It's really, again, from the proper perspective, everything makes sense. If I had two brand new automobiles, exactly the same year, make, and model, and they both need 8 quarts of oil, but they both only have 2 quarts of oil, they're both 6 quarts down. If I drive one of those cars at 10 miles an hour and the other car at 100 miles an hour, which car is the engine going to seize first?
The one that's going 100 miles an hour.
100. It's the same with the human body. When you exercise, you dramatically increase your body's nutrient needs. Dramatically. Harvard University did a study. There was a basketball player in Boston. What was his name? Peyton.
Yeah.
It'll come to me in a minute, right?
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name either, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he died of a heart attack, and at a very young age. And he had a heart attack at a very young age, and nobody could figure out why, because he was an athlete, professional athlete, right? He didn't drink, he didn't do drugs. He was good, and he working out like the doctors say. Watching what he eats. He had a good body weight index. Everything good.
Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis. That's who it was. It was Reggie Lewis. Okay. And he had a heart attack, and then the doctors at Harvard are trying to figure out what to do to help him, and then he dies, right? Died of a second heart attack. And it was so perplexing to the medical community. How the heck could this happen? Harvard University did a study, and they showed that when you exercise, you increase your risk of a heart attack by 600%. When you exercise, you increase your risk of a heart attack by 600%.
Now, wait a minute. You don't necessarily mean just traditional walking. When you say exercise, you mean something different than just me going out for a half hour and just walking.
Look, it depends on your nutrient status. Here's what I mean. If you have a chronic illness, if you have high blood pressure, arthritis, fibromyalgia, insomnia, heartburn, migraine headaches, whatever it is that you've got that's a chronic illness that you're taking medication for, those chronic illnesses are all caused by nutrient deficiencies. The reason that you have high blood pressure, the reason that you have arthritis, the reason that you have fibromyalgia, the reason that you have type 2 diabetes is because your body has run out of the raw materials that it needs to fix itself. So your tank is low, and it's dangerously low. As a matter of fact, it is so low, stuff has already broken. So with people that have a chronic illness and are taking a medication, I don't advise any exercise at all. 0. Unless you're taking nutritional supplements. Because when you exercise, you're going to suck out your nutrition even more, and your blood pressure is going to get worse, your fibromyalgia is going to get worse, whatever it is that's there is going to get worse. It has to.
But on another hand, doctor, we are made to move, not necessarily to exercise, but we're designed to move, to circulate blood, to circulate lymph, to move. You're not advocating being sedentary. You're just not advocating going on these exercise programs without supplying your nutritional needs.
Well, just like in the first part of this program when we talked about, the horrors of conventional medicine, it was all doom and gloom. Now we need to start, and then we started the second segment with, the wonders of medical nutrition. Well, it's the same with exercise. So the first side of the coin is exercise without nutrition is suicide. The flip side to that coin is exercise with nutrition, Superman, Superwoman. When you exercise, you break tissue down, you break muscle fiber down, you stress your heart, you stress your lungs, you stress your circulatory system. And then you stress your bones and your joints, right? And then post-exercise, your body, in its wisdom, attempts to strengthen those parts of the body that you just